Hi, I am thedrxhenry, and please excuse any still frames or just animation that doesn't specifically line up with what I'm talking about, because there's actually copyright on this crap, and I've already uploaded the video at this point, so I'm just taking anything out that I couldn't show, and hopefully it doesn't turn into the entire story with the top 15 South Park episodes video. And yeah, that's it, so please excuse any of that. Emo Dad is probably the worst thing in the history of ever. When I say this, this might actually be the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It's a series of short YouTube videos created by the Fine Brothers. The Fine Brothers are the geniuses behind the React videos, and they're like, okay, what do we have on our portfolio? Oh, we have a movie? Okay, yeah, we did that. Oh, we need some sort of animated series. So they just threw whatever idea they had together, like, okay, yeah, we'll just make this as long as we go. There's no careful planning or anything. Let's not try. Let's not actually get an idea that could actually work in an animated format that we could do. So you're probably asking me, well, what is this show about? Well, it's about a dad who's emo and a teenager that's emo, and they argue at each other, and that's really it, and it's the most unappealing thing I've ever seen. So there's not really a whole lot of problems with the series as a series, but by the episodes, yeah, there's a lot of material. So how about we watch the first episode? Basically, it introduces the dad character and the son character, because I couldn't memorize their names, because I don't give a shit. So basically, the first episode is literally just the two characters arguing at each other, and that's it. This goes on for 3 whole minutes. Alright, episode 2. Since all the main establishment is all the way, we can hope that this episode could actually be good. So, basically, it introduces the girlfriend character, and she's in love with the main character's dad, and it's, like, doesn't make much sense at all. Oh yeah, and basically the entire episode is just characters arguing at each other again. Okay, episode 3. So this is the episode where there is literally nothing but arguing, and there's not really a specific topic of the episode. I mean, it's called Emo Duel, except there's not really a duel, unless you count all the arguing that happens, because this is the entire show. Yeah, but basically, so they argue at each other. All the characters argue, because this is very appealing. It's kind of like me saying Alien Covenant is a good movie, because it has scenes of people talking. But, yeah, so they argue with each other, and the dad cuts his toe off, and then he's more emo or something, and there's more arguing, I guess. Oh, and then there's episode 4, where they start a band, and then they argue the entire time, and then nothing happens. There's not really a conflict in any episode at all. There's no resolution. There's not, like, anything. Like, I know these are only short YouTube videos, but I'm not expecting like a 22-minute video made by such a small amount of people. But I mean, like, there's not really a story in each video, and I'm not saying that each video you make has to have a story. It just has to be what you're trying to accomplish, and this is trying to be widely appealing to a specific demographic of people. And I guess according to the comments section, there's actually people that enjoy this, which I'm very surprised about, but basically it just doesn't work in my opinion. Like there are so many things that you could do with this, but because keep in mind this series is very heavily relied on continuity. I don't specifically see that as a bad thing, but they entirely dedicate things that are so minor that just, you know, they need some sort of setup, but they dedicate the entire thing to setup, and it doesn't comprehend well with the specific topic of the episode that they decided to make. Oh yeah, and then there's a 5th episode that literally just introduce the mom character that we only see like twice again in the entire series, and there's just arguing in it and conflict resolution, and that's really it. So, okay, so I could at least say that they somewhat kind of cared about what they were doing in the 2nd season, because I could at least say it's better, because there aren't entire episodes, I mean every episode in the 1st season, entirely dedicated to arguing between one or more characters, because, well, yeah, so there's actually some sort of setup here that they could potentially do good things with, but it's not really the greatest concept, plus it doesn't really have the best setup overall, so, you know, I highly doubt this could actually be good, but basically, so it starts up, and then the dad is the teacher now, and he's at school, and then he's not friends with any of his emo friends anymore, because he's not emo anymore, and then, well, yeah, so he decides to join some newspaper team, and then writes against emo culture, and then the next few episodes mainly consist of my favorite things. Plenty of arguing, because most of this show is arguing. A pointless romance side plot, and then a bunch of stupid jokes about how the principal kind of has some problems. Yeah, so basically, if we just continue the series, basically what happens is the dad becomes emo again, and then gets back in the band, so they actually had some form of establishment in the quite short 1st season, because the season 2 episodes are actually quite longer. They're about 7 to 8 minutes. Then, oh no, it turns out that David, who's the dad character, because they actually kind of interact with each other in the second season, so actually by viewing this, I actually took the time to learn the characters' names just so I would stop saying the main character, the dad, okay, whatever. But then it turns out, oh, they've been pushing him to be emo because he wants him to be emo again because he used to be emo and now he's not, and he's a hipster now because mainly due to the fact that everyone was calling him a hipster, now he actually turned out to be a hipster. And due to the fact that Chris is being pushed because everyone is calling him a hipster, then he actually turns out to be a hipster, despite the fact in the previous season everyone was calling him a poser, because a poser is more of someone who acts in an effective manner to mainly impress others, is specifically that he was acting emo only to impress the other emo children. And then, like, a hipster is more of, like, someone who doesn't follow the specific latest trends, but only the ones specifically out of the mainstream cultural significance. This would have been fine if there's more motivation in the character, which there really isn't, because no characters have any motivation, pretty much. But, I mean, like, it's clear that he has motivation, it just doesn't specifically comprehend well. That's one of my main problems with the entire show. But, yeah, basically, so he's in an emo band now, again, because then, so they're at the dance, and then he cuts his other toe off, because reference, and then, oh, yeah, so then they go to perform somewhere else, and then, oh no, Chris has to go to the performance, and then that's where every problem is just kind of solved, but it does it way too quickly, and so there's so many specific conflicts occurring that it just individually sums them up all right here, and that's pretty much the only reason for this episode to exist, because, well, yeah, this is the 6th episode in the 2nd season, so this is only a total of 11 episodes, so, like, okay, so I thought there would only be 5, because, 5 and 5, but no, there's 5 and 6, but basically, this is literally just an episode that is mostly just filler, and then all the resolution of the conflict. But yeah, so then after all the crap that just happened, then the dad is a poser now, so it's poser dad, because it was emo dad, then normal dad, and then poser dad, so this proves that there could potentially be a 3rd season, which I really hope there isn't, because the first season came out in 2013, and then the second one came out in 2016, and then let's just hope there isn't one in 2019, but Fine Brothers starts spouting out animation-related properties now, because, like, they do things like R-rated versions of films, except all they do, they don't actually add some sort of serious theme that would, something that could, like a Disney movie, well, yeah, you could make a Disney movie R-rated by more deliberately focusing on not just violence for the purpose of epicing up proportions, but I mean, like just darker themes and overall narratives and better overall character studies. You could do that, but you see, just having cursing in every memorable scene of the film, then yeah, no, that doesn't count as making it R-rated. Sure, you're making it R-rated due to the language, but that doesn't specifically mean that you're gonna do that. Like, seriously, who the hell thought this was a good idea?
Do you have the scar? Oh yeah. Holy sh!
There will always be some way to make fun of their property. And speaking of animation, the animation is really choppy, and I'm only saying this because I've seen better animations done by only one person, sometimes maybe 2 or 3. Now, I really don't like the most YouTube animated web series. I mean, like, with the exception of Ed's World, which I actually highly recommend, well, there's not really anything that's specifically creative, because generally, the creative minds generally belong in a different place, and I could certainly say that, but yeah, the animation is really choppy. There's some moments that highlight how bad it kind of is. Like, look at this dance scene, like, there's just so many choppy movements right there, and then look at the part where the car is driving away. Like, seriously, look at that. Like, the tires didn't even move. It's just one moving image. And yeah, this is probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. The series mainly consisted of arguing on interesting conflicts, bad animation, just no creative thought was put in this. The Fine Brothers just, hey, I have a concept for something that isn't workable and we can only put so much into, and then the writing will just be a mess no matter what. Oh yeah, let's turn this into a series. Now, honestly, the Fine Brothers have creativity, but they just don't realize how to do this. They're not skilled in making this. Now, I'll give them credit, they're trying to do something new, but, I mean, like, this really isn't specifically suitable for what they're trying to do. Making an animated series literally just for the purpose for you could have it on your portfolio just isn't acceptable. I'm thedrxhenry, I'm signing off. Don't watch this, ever.